Now, the First World War and the Russian time. How did Russia got involved in this one? The First World War was fought between Germany, Austria and Turkey on one side, known as Central Powers, while on the other side we have France, Britain and Russia. Now almost all the 6 countries have empires all around the world. So they maintain a global empire. So the war was not fought only in Europe, but it was fought all around the world. That is the reason why it is known as World War I. Now moving on to understand in Russia. In Russia, people saw it as a great victory to participate in World War I. Tsar used to consult the Duma before he takes any decision, while the people started to rally in favor of Tsar Nicholas II. As the support started to grow larger and larger, Tsar became very possessive and he did not want to take any advice from any political parties in the Duma. He started to neglect the Duma. As he started to neglect the Duma, people were started to get doubts on the intentions of the Tsar. People also were shocked when he changed the name St. Petersburg, which was a German origin name, to Petrograd. So this also triggered the anger of the people, especially the army, to stand against Nicholas II. Tsar Nicholas II did all his intentions or all his actions were guided by the most vile monk, Mr. Rasputin. He was a guiding person for our Tsar Nicholas II. The army, the Russian army in the World War I is rightly known as steam roller. It was the largest army which any country can have. So Russia is having a largest army where the Russian soldiers shifted their support from Tsar to the revolutionaries. Tsarists lost their power in Russia. That much powerful the army of Russia is. And the king started to neglect the people, the political parties, and he was forcing the army to fight for his personal interest and ideology. So what happened in World War I? How many people died? What was the result of this? When the Russians fought the World War I, there are two different regions where they fought this one. It is on the Western Front and on the Eastern Front. On the Western Front, near the France, they had a long trenches from where the soldiers used to be inside and used to fight the war. While moving on to the Eastern Front, on the Eastern Front, we have fought battles seriously from moving from one place to another place. As they are moving from one place to another place, they used to leave all the casualties there itself and they used to move ahead. The situation started to get worse because from 1914 to 1916, it was very shocking even for us that the largest army, any other country in the world do not have this much of army power or army strength, got defeated in the hands of Germany and Austria. And the casualties figure rose up to 7 million people. 7 million people were injured and lost their body parts. And as the time passed on, in order to avoid the enemies to come and take shelter or to be there at that particular region or enter into the Russian land, the Russian army destroyed all the fields and the houses which are nearby the border, which again brought 3 million people onto the roads. So now 3 million people were refugees, 7 million casualties. The soldiers were completely dissatisfied with this war. People are completely unhappy with the happenings. The Tsar now want to continue the war. The Tsar do not want to change his motto at all to switch off from the war. The railway breakdown. Later from 1916, the railway started to break down. The tracks started to break down. And the connectivity, because many of the factories what Russia owns are very less for the government and more are private. Though private and government are there, the transportation passes through via Baltic Sea. As Germans and the Austrians are victorious, they started to control the Baltic Sea. So the connectivity between the industries of Russia and the rest part of the world got completely off. So there is no other alternative. Soldiers are resisting to join in the army, and food was supplied in large quantities to the army by grabbing, which is available in the local market. So people, those who are struggling to get the bread and wheat flour, used to struggle, and sometimes they used to do strikes also near the local shops. As the time changed, people started to resist for fighting in the war. So what happened?
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.